Good morning and welcome to another episode for Satori Sessions this Wednesday. And today I'm going to be covering payment services for small businesses. Let me just make sure that I am live on everything, and that seems to have done the trick. So I'll just hide the rest of that stuff down and we can go again now. Um, so last week I was talking about 7 tips to get paid faster as a small business. Very applicable in terms of the content on last week's session. If you're in service-based business and professional services, for example. Today, I want to take that a wee step further and introduce some of the technology stuff that is relevant to getting paid faster. And I'm going to look at a couple of payment services that you can add into your Zero account. To ensure that you're going to get paid faster because you're making the process much more automated, much slicker, much easier, much more modern as well. And now look, there's loads of payment providers out there. The ones I'm looking at today are specifically geared up more for B2B mainly, although one of them being Stripe can also do B2C stuff. And the other two is GoCardless and also a fairly new player on the market. Not very new because they've been up and around for a couple of years now, but maybe not as well known, but absolutely brilliant to work with, which is a platform called Crezco. So I'm going to go through those three, but there are loads of others out there. Some people still use the likes of PayPal and so on. And these are our kind of three ones that we see most people using, and they work really, really well for different reasons, and I'll explain that as I'm going through the process of reviewing them today as well. So let me see if I can just share my screen. Let me see, share a screen. Okay, dokie. Now what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to share. Um, I'll share the entire screen actually here, and we'll go through it from there. So the first one we're going to look at now is GoCardless. All right. So we actually have an account with GoCardless, and have been using it for that's at least 10 years now, to be honest. GoCardless is a direct debit, online direct debit system. Probably the one we would recommend most for clients and customers to use on a B2B, business to business basis. And especially if you're doing recurring payments of some description, having a direct debit with GoCardless in place makes total sense for your business. It automates the entire process from the process of invoicing to getting paid. Excuse me. Um, and as long as you get the setup and the integration correct, which I'll talk about a wee bit now, it saves you absolutely loads of time. And the story I always tell to demonstrate that is what is our experience with GoCardless. So my experience for Satori accounting is as follows. So whenever a new client or customer signs up with us, they sign their direct debit mandate as part of the onboarding process. And then all customers get an invoice from us for their monthly recurring services on the first of each month. The due date on these invoices is the third of each month, and you're paying for that particular month worth of services. So whenever a new customer signs up with us, we go into Zero and we set them up as a recurring invoice to go to them automatically by email every month. So that's a one-time thing we're doing. We just set up the recurring invoice and it goes automatically out on the first of each month. And the way we have the integration working, the invoice goes to the client. They have a direct debit mandate. GoCardless goes and basically checks what invoices haven't been paid, checks in the background to see if the mandate exists, check if the customer is properly matched, and if everything is ticked correctly, then GoCardless goes into their bank account on the third, processes the payment out of their bank account, and a couple of days later, we get the money back into our bank account. Now it comes in as one lump sum a few days later, minus the GoCardless fees. And what we have as well is the integration working in such a way that all of these entries are done on Zero for us. So we don't have to mark these invoices paid. So the money's getting collected automatically and the invoices are marked as paid automatically. So the bookkeeping's been reconciled for me as well. So the amount of time I spend on sort of issuing invoices and credit control each month is next to nil. And that's why GoCardless is something we recommend really, really highly for that type of environment. Um, so in terms of how we use it, we've got a multi-currency option within there, British pounds and euros. We also have GoCardless for Zero. Now, GoCardless for Zero is a platform which works with in between GoCardless and Zero, and you have to get this set up and set it up properly for this whole automation piece to work properly. But basically, this is a tool which sends information and reads information between the two systems. So you can go in there and say, okay, there's all of our customers and various invoices that are due to be paid. There's all of our customers. There's our dashboard stuff as well. And I'll not go into details on that, obviously, for confidentiality reasons. But essentially what happens is that GoCardless will, for Zero, read information between both of them, see who owes money, see who's got a mandate, go and collect the money, put it into our bank account. One thing I will mention on that side of it as well now is, let me just stop the screen share for a second. There is two types of integration you can now do between GoCardless and Zero. The first one is the one we're using, and that's what I would call the legacy one. It's the one that's been there for years, and that's where you have GoCardless, and you've got Zero, and you've got GoCardless for Zero, a separate platform owned by GoCardless, but it's in between the two of them. Kind of clicks the two together. The new option now is a direct integration with Zero, so you can go into Zero and integrate GoCardless that way. Um, I have found that to be a wee bit nuanced at times. And there's certain extra steps you just need to go through to make sure it's working properly. I think once you get it done, it's fine, but I'm still using the legacy one because it's so automated and so quick. But I just want to make people aware that there's two kind of options around that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to look at is going to be Stripe. We have a number of clients and customers who would use Stripe. And let me just share the screen again now. Let's go and look at Stripe in here. Okie dokie. So, yes, we have a account with Stripe. We don't have it for anything other than some people use it to pay one-off invoices from time to time, and we don't use that much. If I'm totally honest with you. Sometimes a client's direct debit might fail through GoCardless. We also have GoCardless set up to automatically retry, which is brilliant process they have in place. But after a couple of retries, you kind of have to contact someone and say, listen, your direct debit just hasn't gone through there. We've tried a couple of times. And sometimes they'll go into the invoice, click pay now, and Stripe will actually collect the money when they put in their card details. Stripe is quite popular, I suppose, with SaaS businesses as well. So you can do recurrent payments on Stripe once you set up subscriptions and stuff like that properly on the system. But the one thing that I would say about Stripe is that it does integrate with Zero, and you'll get the transactions coming across. So all the money getting collected by your customers goes in like a separate bank account called Stripe on your Zero account. All that money coming in, though, has to be coded properly on your Zero account, so that's part of your bookkeeping processes. One thing that I don't like about Stripe is that Stripe does the billing for you, which is perfect and it's good, so that when somebody signs up for a subscription on Stripe, if it's going to be like a SaaS business and it's recurring, then every month they will get a copy of their Stripe invoice for your business, and it'll show the net, the VAT, and all that sort of stuff once it's set up properly. But those invoices sit within Stripe and they don't go into your Zero account. Now, being an accountant, I would prefer to have the actual invoice going in there, but it's the actual money being paid going in. So in terms of credit control, you've actually got to use Stripe instead of Zero to actually monitor the payment system. So if anybody's payments have failed and so on, now there's things that you can learn within Stripe and the dashboard within Stripe, which will certainly help with all of that. But that's the one thing I don't like about Stripe. Stripe's also, I think, a wee bit pricier than the likes of GoCardless, I think. But it's still a brilliant platform and very widely used, and we do use it a wee bit as well. The last one I want to look at today, let me just stop the sharing again now, is, as I say, a fairly new player to the market, but they're up and running a couple of years. And we got to know these guys through the Early Adopters Hub, and it's a payment platform called Crezco. And this is the type of platform that's going to become much more popular, I think, in recent times. And we set up a client with this yesterday. So Crezco it's not a platform at the moment for recurring payments. It's more for sending an invoice to a customer to get paid on a one-to-one basis, project type work, which is why we set it up for this particular client yesterday. But the brilliant thing about it, if I can just again share the screen with you, let me go into, where is it? There it is. Share the screen. So for Crezco, it's cardless payments everywhere and it's open banking. So what that means is this is a platform which will connect your zero invoices through the open banking system to your customer's bank account. Now, it's not a permanent connection. It's like get them in to do what they've got to do and get them back out again and send you the money all in one series of slick steps. So really what you've got is, let's see, so you can receive payments honestly straight into your bank account and the invoice is reconciled. Free and instant payment with no card fees. That is what is absolutely brilliant about this one. Now, there's loads of other things Crezco will do, but I'm talking about payments from customers today. So it can be bulk payments, international payments. There's all sorts of stuff that you can get Crezco to do. But in terms of getting up and running, what you really want to do is you just want to get up and running to get the payment system working. And let me show you what's absolutely beautiful about it. It's free. And that may sound like, well, if it's free, is it really that good? Well, Crezco have other ways of generating revenue. They do have other subscription models you can go for. So, for example, for £10 a month, it'll be your own payment experience. That means that Crezco will give you your own sort of landing page during the process by your customer signing up to do a payment. So some people want that, and that's fine. But our client yesterday, it was just a matter of actually getting people to pay money in an easy, convenient fashion. So they went for the free option. It's not going to cost them anything. And the way it works then is on Zero, you connect up Crezco, connect Crezco to your business bank account, so that it knows where to send the money to. And then you're really good to go. You're kind of going into Crezco or going into Zero, send an invoice to your customer with the Crezco payment service set up and configured to be on that invoice. That means that when the customer gets the invoice, there's a pay now button on the invoice or on the email coming in. They literally click on that email, on that button. And when they click on that button, they are told, do you want to pay like £2,450 to Satori accountant? So if the answer is yes, it then says connecting you to your bank, and it asks you as the customer on your mobile app or on your email, on your browser, which bank are you with? And then you'll pick, well, I'm with HSBC, or I'm with Santander, or I'm with Danske Bank, or whoever it is. And when it clicks you through to that, it pushes you into the banking app. So it pushes you in there, it just says log on to your banking app, and then it'll say, do you want to make this payment from this bank account to this person? And if you say yes, job done. So it is a slick process and brilliant for business to business and brilliant for one-off payment and project type stuff. So highly recommend that, and talk to us if you want to get that set up and running for your business. One last thing before we finish just today is I want to mention I'm covering B2B, and I thought I would just throw on a B2C element, and there's loads of B2C elements. So business to consumer, business to customer, when you're dealing with private customers, retail environment and so on. And I have to actually mention it's a client of ours, so I wouldn't mind giving them a bit of a shout, which is going to be here. If I can just find it now. There we are, share. AirPods Pay. AirPods is based in Belfast, and they've been up and running now for about 14 years, 15 years. And they've brought on a new payment platform for their AirPods system. So AirPods was the first company to do an online cloud-based POS, point of sale system, which are very common obviously nowadays. But they were hugely innovative in launching this way back in sort of 2009-10 times. So they now have AirPods Pay built in, so you can actually sign up for AirPods Pay. The fees that you're going to pay, I think, are really, really competitive in terms of how much you're paying in terms of the transactions. But look at what you get included for free. So you will get a free POS and stock control element when you sign up with AirPods Pay. So I just wanted to give them a shout out, and anybody who is in, especially in the retail environment, hospitality and so on, AirPods Pay integrates with Zero and does all of the payment stuff you would expect it to do. So I just thought it would be nice to give them a bit of a shout out on that. That's it for today. So that's three B2B payment providers and services I've covered. GoCardless is brilliant for direct debits and recurring services. Stripe, good for SaaS, doesn't push the invoices through, but it's easy to work with once you get it set up properly. Crezco, absolutely brilliant for small businesses, especially for one-off type payments. So if you're in any kind of project work, construction type stuff, you can sign up with Crezco, and instead of waiting on a bank transfer coming through, it does make it easier for the customers to do it through their banking profile. Saves the customer a bit of time too. So that would be the three most common that we end up recommending. And then AirPods Pay if you're a retail customer and you're doing B2C stuff. So hopefully that's useful. And as always, if there's any of the stuff that I'm talking about that you'd like some help with, we specialize in dealing with all these things in terms of your accounting package with Satori Accounting. We're a digital firm. We operate a digital finance team for your business, and we will set up all these bits of text and apps for your business to make it more automated and save you a lot more time, give you a bit more energy back for the things that you want to do in your business and in your life. So join us again next week for another topic, Wednesday at 10 o'clock for Satori sessions.